Filipino people that were yelling, by the way.
Oftentimes, less than visible, shall we say. And I'm wondering for each of you, in terms of the ways in which you've come up as artists, as community organizers, as educators and whatnot, I guess what I'm asking is, this lineage of Filipino-American performers and artists and leaders that you see, do you see yourself within that, and how does it have an impact on you as a creative artist? Ben, why don't you start?
Yeah,
okay. The lineage of Filipino-American artists who have migrated or been forced migrated over into this country and have turned to the performance arts or the cultural arts. I'm very, very honored to be a part of that lineage. I think that's a strong lineage that dates back to the first Filipinos who came here. You know, in Louisiana, most folks don't know, early Filipino settlers came there and participated in the jazz movement. So I'm very, very honored to be accepted into this black art form. And let me just stress and stress that part is we are Filipino Americans up here, but I don't do Filipino hip hop. I don't do Asian hip hop. I make black music, which is hip hop. And I have been allowed to share this medium, so I do it no disservice by getting up here and shucking and jiving and acting a fool. I get up here to get our people the freedom that we're aiming for to create or impact towards social change in our communities and really utilize this medium to get that message out there and to organize the people. So.
And likewise for you, Lowleaf, do you see your career sitting within sort of this lineage of Filipino-American performance, especially in California?
Yeah, I feel like I feel that presence a lot when I leave California, how I fit into, I guess, that wave of being Filipino-American that's beyond me. Because growing up, there wasn't much representation of Filipinos in the media. So I guess I just stayed in my own world and just always had a connection to music, like a very personal connection on a spiritual level. So that's just my approach in general. And I guess, you know, I was born Filipino, so that's just like where I get grouped in. But I feel super proud, you know? It's very humbling at the same time.
I'm going to use my prerogative as the moderator to ask a question I haven't asked any of you over the last 4 days. And this is just to satisfy my own, it's not that interesting, but this is really just to satisfy my own curiosity. And P, I want you to answer this too. But I want to start with Lowleaf. Who would you consider to be one of your most important creative, artistic, musical, however you want to fill it in, inspirations?
I feel like probably Alice Coltrane has inspired me in the biggest way, because she played the same instruments that I do, but she definitely made a type of music that resonated with me immediately when I heard it. One that was like painting like vibratory landscapes, and upon hearing it, something in me shifted. And I feel like that's a very deep and sacred thing, you know, to have that type of energy, that energy capsule in a song. So I feel like that influenced me a lot, like in 2009.
I'm about to date myself and date a bunch of people in this room. But Ice Cube of 1992. Ice Cube in 1992. Ice Cube in 1992 put out an album called Death Certificate. And on that album, I feel like if you wanted to know what the climate was before the Los Angeles Rebellion or the riots, however you want to call it, of April 1992. If you listen to that album, I think you could truly get a picture of what LA was like in that bubble that was about to pop. And I feel like there are a lot of artists making that kind of music before the Alton Sterling and before the Philando Castile, before the Michael Brown. There are certain albums you can listen to and understand that something's coming. You know, and I think that music has inspired me and still inspires me to this day, because every time I go into the studio with Fatty, I say to myself, I call him Fatty. Every time I go in the studio with Fat, I use Death Certificate as the benchmark for like what I want to do. Am I gonna, you know, on that album he talked about all the ills in our community, from STDs to police brutality to gang violence, and it was wonderful. And so I try to recreate that. So I think Ice Cube of 92 is probably my biggest musical influence, but my work is influenced by the work that I do with the people.
DJ, how about you?
That's a hard question.
I know.
Just say me.
That's why I asked it.
definitely not you.
Easy.
This might be an obvious answer given, you know, recent events, but Prince has a huge influence on me as a DJ, as an entertainer, as a social activist, as somebody who's really fought really hard to be, I've struggled really hard with being comfortable with individuality, being a Chinese American growing up in Texas, blah, blah, blah. Prince is a huge inspiration on multiple levels, and just his musicianship, crazy.
All right, should we get back to some music?
Yeah!
Lily, will you? Thank you.